I covered my boss's vacation when he accused me of stealing $2,000. I'd been assistant manager at our warehouse for 3 years, basically running everything while my boss Gary collected 6 figures for doing nothing. Right before Gary left, he called me to his office and handed me this sketchy burner phone. He said, "Keep this on you. If anyone from corporate calls, tell them I'm in meetings." That felt weird, but whatever. He was my boss. Gary announced he had 3 weeks of corporate training in Chicago. As he walked to his car, I noticed his golf clubs in the trunk. When he saw me looking, he said, "For networking." Yeah, right. At first, everything went fine, and I handled everything like I always did, including a shipping crisis that would have cost us $50,000. The burner phone never rang. Then our regional director showed up and asked where Gary was. I told him Chicago training. He looked confused and said, "There's no training scheduled in Chicago this month." I felt sick because I realized Gary had lied to me. That night, the burner phone finally rang and Gary was furious. "Why did you tell him about Chicago?" he demanded. I reminded him that's what he told me to say. After a long pause, he said, "Just say I'm handling a family emergency from now on." Things got worse fast. Gary texted me asking me to clock him in remotely each day. He wrote, "Corporate needs to see me active for their audit." I refused because that was fraud and I wasn't risking my job for him. He texted back, "You're overreacting. I'm still your boss. Do it." I didn't respond because there was no way I was committing fraud for this guy. Next thing I knew, 2 security guards showed up at my office and said, "HR needs to see you immediately." My hands started shaking because I knew this couldn't be good. Walking to HR, all I could think about was my kids since rent was due tomorrow, and my son needed his ADHD medicine that cost $300. The HR director looked at me like I was a criminal and said, "We have a serious problem. You've been stealing time from the company." She showed me time cards on her computer with 43 hours showing me clocking in, then leaving immediately. All the edits started right after I refused Gary's request to commit fraud. She said, "Gary flagged this and says you stole his access code." I felt my face burning with anger, but tried to stay calm while she told me I was suspended without pay immediately. She said, "You owe the company $2,000 or we'll press criminal charges." I said, "I have kids to feed." She actually shrugged and said, "Should have thought about that before stealing." Walking back to get my things, I felt sick thinking about telling my family we might lose our apartment. Then I noticed Gary's laptop still open on his desk, with his email still logged in. Security was coming to escort me out, but I needed answers. My heart was pounding as I clicked through his sent folder and found emails about meeting up in Cabo. These were from when Gary was supposedly in Chicago. Then I found receipts he'd forwarded to himself for a luxury resort at $1,200 a night, casino charges for $3,000, and fishing charters for $800, all on the company card. Then I found his email to HR claiming he discovered me stealing time and was cutting his Chicago trip short to handle it. The email details showed it was sent from Mexico. Security knocked on the door, so I frantically printed everything and stuffed the papers into my bag as they walked in. At corporate headquarters, the CFO was waiting for me while Gary was driving back from his supposed training. I spread everything across his desk and watched his face go from skeptical to shocked as he read through it all. He pulled up the credit card system and confirmed every single charge was real. Then he called IT, and they confirmed the time card changes came from a Mexican IP address linked to Gary's phone. The CFO tried calling Gary but got no answer. Then Gary texted, "Almost there, 2 hours from Chicago." The CFO opened the company phone tracker, and Gary's location showed him at Phoenix Airport, not driving from Chicago. He called security and said, "Wait at the entrance." Gary walked through the doors wearing a blazer over a Cabo souvenir shirt with his face completely sunburned and his arms dark tan. Security stopped him in the lobby while the CFO walked out with the printed receipts. He said, "Explain these." Gary's sunburned face went pale and he said, "Those are fabricated." The CFO held up his phone showing Gary's GPS history with location dots all over Mexico and said, "You're done." The police arrived just as Gary tried to leave. The company gave me Gary's position and a $20,000 bonus after, finding he'd stolen $70,000 through fake trips. My kids and I kept our apartment and never missed a meal. Gary's wife messaged me thanking me because she finally had proof of his affairs. Gary got 5 years in federal prison.